should.
Anybody else you want to add? Just add it.
We need to tell them to go down to what's the name of the damn
reason I'm
place?
bringing you in now is because we're so
The thing that's happening tonight that I just came
the
from.
Field of Dreams, or
No,
not the one of those.
Yeah, that's it. Haters.
It's alright, we spoon each other, to be honest.
Yeah.
You want to spoon with us?
That's cool, bro. I'm good.
Sure.
Jazzy doesn't want to spoon with us.
I know. Your dad already hugs me and feels me up every time he sees me.
That's okay. It's an equal opportunity one. He does that to everybody.
I know. He's a perv. Big perv.
Alright, so.
We got a great intro for the night. Like I told you all, great juice machine. We're gonna be mean. This is my mean voice.
Next.
I can't move over because.
Oops.
What, you don't love us? You don't care?
So you got a butt in tonight.
It's alright, I don't smoke either.
I don't want anymore. I'm good. I know that you don't hear that often, but for now.
Yeah, I think we, and can somebody take the fan out and shut the window? Just shut the fan off. And then we're gonna lap around the building and 5 push-ups.
It's just a little requirement for talking.
Yeah. And you don't have to shut the curtain. We're good on that.
Our mic's going limp.
Uh-oh. Limp mic.
Oh, here, I got it.
On the side there.
Nope, there. Jason.
Yeah, he's got a new mic touching roll. Sorry. Well, where did his signs go? He did have little signs, I thought.
Okay. Kind of have this.
Huh? Do you mean it?
Yeah, because we got
Yeah, just make sure you're talking to the side.
Oh, so I need to come over this way.
Yeah.
Well,
No way.
then does my mic need to go somewhere?
6
What?
minutes, 5 minutes.
I don't think I can sit there.
No, you can't. With that chair, you can't.
Yep.
So yeah, you'll have to.
I tried to give you a big comfy chair.
I know.
I did that just for you.
Oh, what's going on?
I don't know. We need to switch chairs.
Yeah.
chair, like
Yeah, just the regular
not
chairs.
spots.
No.
Not spots.
No.
We got all the...
I'm like, what's he doing?
Well, I was wondering what you both were doing.
No cameras in view. We're good.
You're doing what? For how many
Cameras
cookies?
are good. I like cookies.
Okay. Is there room to slide
Cupcakes are good
this?
too. I've been on those lately.
Yeah.
Chuck. I had one and a half. I
Cheesecakes.
left
Chaz
one.
loves the cheesecakes.
Chuck's
There we go,
cupcakes are
that's-
pretty good.
That
Yeah,
works
that works better for visuals.
I ate a half one the other day.
There we go, now.
Okay, I'm gonna start broadcasting.
Yeah, I ate a whole one the day of Audrey's thing.
Yeah.
I was feeling
Tell me
free
about
of
that.
Yeah. I was scared to drive.
Now can you see me?
Did you get a soapbox?
see me now?
Yeah, we need to get Elise on camera. We had a complaint about that.
We did.
Well,
Well, my whole
I need to
trimming
see
crew
her
was
pretty face.
watching the radio show last time, and I wasn't on camera.
A few years we were walking away, they called us radio stars. You're new people.
Yeah,
You're
I
like,
know.
"They're
Check
like
the
radio
feed.
stars."
Check it.
I know.
Check it. See if it's
On the
working.
internet.
Check the feed. Check the feed.
3 minutes.
Check the feed.
Check the feed. Okay. Okay.
It's like a big happy family. It's like Thanksgiving.
That's alright.
Alright, I should think of that.
We got 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
I don't know exactly what
3
he was trying to
minutes.
say. He was pointing at you doing rude things.
Yeah,
We're gonna do a
Hey.
sound check.
we did a sound check.
Can you hear me?
Test it. Hold on.
We haven't.
Check. 1, 2, 3.
Good. Check.
4, 5, 6.
7, 8, 9.
666.
I love it.
That's it? Oh my god.
We might actually start on time with no faults.
Did I tell y'all I got gas?
Bite your tongue, my friend.
No.
It's okay. It's natural. It happens.
Time to get serious.
And you guys could hear yourselves in your headphones, so I didn't even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What headphones?
You guys don't have headphones. You have to wing it.
You don't need headphones. You don't use headphones.
No,
Headphones
just talk
are
to
for
me,
sissies.
Annalisa.
Headphones are for sissies.
Yeah.
I'm a sissy. I can
Oh,
listen to
there are
that.
headphones right there someone can use. You guys want to fight over them?
I'm mostly for them.
One of you guys can have them because you're going to be here.
Yeah.
Are we lacking one more set?
Yeah, we've only got. Lisa's got the other one.
I wanted to put Michael on some. Michael, are you going to be okay with no headphones?
Okay.
We can switch.
I
We're
can
going to
hear
talk
you.
to Chris and then we're going to talk to you. Yes. So we can put headphones on you and let Chris just listen in and chime in.
Okay.
We're too cool for headphones, huh, Chaz?
2 minutes.
1.5.
1.5. I don't know how to do a hat. I'm lost.
When we first start, can we tell people to go
That's
down
how you-
to,
that's how
what
you
is
do 1.5.
The
it?
Boehner event.
Yeah.
One love at
Stick man.
haters.
That's how you do 1.5.
1.5. I love you all.
Nice. I thought that was number one.
That's how we wave in Chicago. It's Chicago wave.
You're number one.
I guess it's time to get it.
Alright, I'm gonna wait till right at 8 o'clock. We're gonna go right
That's
to the last
fine.
minute. Cause you
Get
got
our
stuff
crazy
planned in
intro
your head
down.
already, and you're gonna forget it at 8
We're about
o'clock.
ready. Should we be on? I guess it's time to hit it.
Let me start record here. Which is a good thing.
Let's have your fun show. Fun show?
Fun show.
Fun show.
Fun show.
Fun show starting
We're gonna
in
get naked.
20 seconds. No.
What's Souther's first name?
That's
John Southers? Or
What kind of Southers?
Souther.
the Attorney General?
John.
John
Yeah.
Southers.
Yeah.
John
John?
Southers and
Yeah.
John Walsh.
Alright, 5 seconds.
I need to hear something. I'm all off.
3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome to Overgrow the Radio. How are you tonight, ma'am?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm angry. This is my angry voice.
Oh.
Yeah.
What are we angry about?
We got letters this week.
What kind of letters do we get?
We got letters from John. One of our Johns, John Walsh.
John Walsh.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy.
He kind of is a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's taking patients' medicine.
He is taking patients' medicine, sick people's medicines away from them.
He's taking livelihoods of families, business owners. He's taking money out of our communities. You know, I think it's time that our DA down our way, Mr. May, I'd like to see him stand up.
That's,
Like Boulder.
I don't think that's going to
That's-
happen.
No, I don't. I don't either. You know, I wanted to go on a big rant about this, but we've got such a great show tonight that I really hate to do that. We're going to start off, though. We're going to talk about an event that's going on right now that we're going to head over to after our taping. It's the Boehner fundraiser, which is One Love at Haters, if I'm correct. We will get an address at some point for you in the near future. But if you're out and about, take your internet with you
19th
and
and
listen to
Bannock.
us. There you go.
19th and Bannock. Find it.
Nice. There you go. Get down
One
there.
block. Come on, figure it out.
Yeah, it's not too hard. I'm sure you'll see a big crowd from what I hear. Tonight we've got quite a few guests in our studio. We've got Sean Moore and Mr. Chaz in here. We're going to talk to them first. We've got Chris Nixon from We Are Change. And we've got Michael Clifton. Michael's going to teach us how to vote down in the Springs. He's bringing our Springs vibe up here tonight. His organization is Voting in Action, votinginaction.org. So, Sean, we're going to jump into this with you guys.
We're not from the Springs?
Well, you are. You're bringing that vibe too.
Okay, thank you.
How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing fine. How are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, Chaz got good and medicated.
Yeah,
Gonna be okay?
yeah. Had a couple attacks today so far.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. My back's having a hard time. Hey guys, you guys are up here for a couple reasons tonight. We're going to start a new segment here on Overgrow the Radio. What we're going to do is highlight organizations and foundations from the Springs area and maybe beyond that at some point that actually do help patients, that get out there on the front lines, that donate medicine to patients, that do what they can, you know, above and beyond. And you guys, your organization is definitely one of those. Can you
Thank you.
tell the folks out there about it?
Actually, you want to take it?
Yeah, he just started an attack. Basically, me and Chaz, when we started this medical marijuana, we found out that there's really not a whole lot of people out there advocating for children. So we mainly advocate for children, but we also advocate for like Bob Kraus, Elisa, anything that needs our support, we're out there for it. But our main focus is for the children.
Sure.
And safe access for children, and to make sure that, you know, that they know the laws, and as much as we can do to help with our resources that we have. So.
And you guys, you were kind of pushed into activism per se, as a lot of us have been. A lot of us got here that way. You know, Chaz obviously is under 18. Are you still under 18?
Yep.
Yeah, I
Okay.
got 5 months till I'm 18.
Nice, man. Well, a party, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You had some struggles at school, man, and we'll let your dad just briefly touch on those for the folks that don't know your story yet, which can't be too many, because we're getting it out there. Explain to us, this kind of ties in with everything that's going on, the problems we all have in society. You know, we're treated as patients, as choosing cannabis instead of pharmaceuticals, we're treated as second-class citizens.
Second class, third class.
Right, and you guys are prime example
prisoners
of
have
that.
better, you know, more rights than a cannabis patient. Basically, what happened was we finally found a medication that would help with Chaz's rare disorder. That he's one of 51 in the world that have it. And instead of going to the hospital every time he has an attack, we chose cannabis, which he doesn't have to go to the hospital. He just does what he has to do and goes off and be a normal kid. Well, his neurologist finally okayed him to go back to school, and the school was like, all right, well, you can't medicate on school, blah, 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 all these laws. But, you know, it was like, well, why not? You know, he could carry Valium in his pocket before we found cannabis, and now, you know, he has to walk home a mile to take his medication while having these seizures in his chest and abdomen and throat. Anyway, make a long story short, we came up with a plan to where he'd have to walk home, or one of us would have to go pick him up from school, let him medicate, and then go back. Well, after this third week of him going to school and having to leave and come back, we got a call from the school that said he can't come back because he's going to be high on marijuana. He's going to be a disruption. He's going to smell like it. He's going to.
My eyes are going to be red.
His eyes are going to be red, and all this stuff. And at that time, Chaz was only doing edibles, so it was like.
That's reefer madness.
Oh yeah,
at
reefer
its
madness.
finest right
And
there. He's gonna smell like it. His eyes are gonna be red. He's surely gonna get all the other kids high in the school.
Yeah.
You know, not counting all the other kids that are off school grounds doing it, quote unquote, illegally.
Sure.
You know, but they wanted to single him out because he was we were upfront and honest, and we got, screwed for being upfront and honest with these people. So it was a long fight. We had to go to the media. They finally, okay, he can come back, and then all of a sudden his disease took a turn for the worse, to where none of the medications that we were using to suppress it were working anymore. So now he has anywhere from 1 to 40 attacks in a day, so it was pointless for him to go back to public schools.
And the cannabis and the oils and the different, treatments you're using, they pretty much slow those down. I mean, I've seen, you take a hit
I think
off a
everybody here in
bowl
this
and-
room has seen him,
Yeah.
go from, having a severe attack to, within, once he gets his medication, within a couple minutes, it's stopping.
Chaz, if you need to bow out,
well, I
you're
actually would say
perfectly
something,
fine.
but
Go
like,
for it.
if I was having attacks in school, there'd be no way I was going back to class. Like,
Sure.
I don't care how much I have to medicate now. I could go from having an attack, go to nurse's off, medicate, and go right back to class
Yeah.
as many times as I could a day. And
Just like an inhaler for asthma.
Just like
Yeah.
an inhaler.
A tincture.
Yeah.
A couple tinctures.
Or, you know, the
drop some
vape
tincture.
pens that they have nowadays that, you know, like the
Absolutely.
e-cigarettes where they have no smell.
We got to jump to something else real quick. Plug your website for me, though, real quick.
IamBillSmith.com. We have Chaz's story on there. We have Miko and Joey out in California. We have Cash Hyde stories on there. It's kind of a one-stop shop.
Nice.
We're also working on a 5-year-old down in Colorado Springs who we've been working with. Her story's going to be on there
Awesome.
soon. So
We've got something exciting to touch on with you real quick to get you guys out of here. Overgrow the Radio, Overgrow the Government is in full support of this. You want to tell us what you want to do?
I want to start email bombing and phone call bombing to John Walsh. I've made numerous phone calls to him, and I'm now making numerous emails to him about how he's supposedly trying to save the children, when actually when he's closing down these dispensaries, it's causing more harm than good. I mean, down in Colorado Springs, we can't even water our parks, we can't have lights on, all this other stuff, and then he's making, you know, taking tax dollars from the schools and everything else that these dispensaries pay on.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, there's not safe access, and then they're putting it more into the black market. So let's start letting him know exactly what he's doing to our children. He's putting more out there on the black market for, you know, these children to get a hold of.
Well, and there's many levels to this.
Oh, yeah, many levels.
He's violating our 10th Amendment rights.
10th Amendment rights, our
You know,
20th Amendment here in Colorado.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we voted this in, people. I mean,
We voted this in by a large margin, and I'll tell you what I see, and I'm just going to rant here for just a second. I watched California before Prop 19, and if you guys remember, right before that, the feds came in waves. You know, they did things like sent letters, and then they jumped in and started raiding everyone.
yeah.
I hate to say it, but this is the beginning of this, and we've got to stand up right now.
Right
all
now,
of us.
all of us. I mean, start just blowing. You know, he put an article out. I got so much praise. Well, you know what? I didn't praise you, and I know a lot of people that, you know, think it's a bunch of crap that he was doing this, and it's a bunch of crap that our own Attorney General's not standing up to him and doing what, you know, our people here in Colorado voted for. And I'm, for one, sick and tired of it. And I've called him out in the papers on the Colorado Independent and this Barbara Roach. I've called them all out. And
Yeah, she doesn't want to live in a town with dispensaries. Well, I have a question, Miss Roach. Why the hell did you move to Colorado?
Yeah,
Because
go back to where
80%
you
of our
came from.
citizens
I was
approve
born and
medical
raised
cannabis. And 80% of us, I'm sorry, ma'am, you can't get rid of 80% of the state.
here. Yeah. And,
Real quick, man, we got to go to commercial. Let's, do we have a number for them?
John Walsh's phone number is 303-454-0100, and his email address is, holy crap, usaco.jwalsh@usdog.gov.
So, folks, we've really got to get on this one. They're threatening our safe access. Like I said, what they're trying to do, we have 3 legalization measures and counting that we're trying to get on our ballot. It's going to happen here. It's Colorado. We have common sense. We're not ignorant. We know our science. We know that cannabis is a harmless medicine that has thousands of uses.
It's saved my kid's life, and
Absolutely.
so it saved my life, and it's saving lots of others.
I'm
You know,
right there with
my
you.
shirt says, educate, don't discriminate, cannabis saves kids too.
So I encourage, what I like to do, and I joked earlier that the folks at the White House probably know me by my first name these days. I call daily, or every other day.
Yeah, I call
you know.
every other day.
And I encourage everybody out there listening, and you know, tell your family and friends. You never know who's going to do that, who's going to make that call.
Yeah, they can't even, you know, these schools are shutting down, you know, auto shop, all that other stuff, because,
Right.
you know, we can't. So, you know, where's our tax dollars going?
To-
You know, these dispensaries are paying taxes.
right,
They could fund that.
right.
Water our
exactly.
parks, you know, pay for our kids in school, and
Or we could just get radical and end the drug war.
that too. Come on, Jesus Christ.
I think we're going to have to cut out to commercial here real quick. Sean, thanks
Thank
for
you,
coming
everybody.
on. Thank Chaz for me. I
Yeah,
know he
I
had to
will.
take care of business.
Call, write, be a pain in his ass.
Absolutely.
Thank
That's
you,
what
Sean.
you would take. Thanks, man. We'll have you back soon. We'll be right back on Overgrow the Radio. Thanks for listening.
Have fun. All kinds of room. I'll quit farting.
All right, let's take this. All right, do a quick little.
Shuffle.
Hey, Chris, should we move this camera over now?
Yeah, I was gonna say, we can switch away cameras now.
Get a different view of me. I'm vain. Have you on camera now? And then we'll put that one like over on the corner and get all three of these guys.
It don't matter. We can switch.
Center stage.
Oh, this will be yours.
Is that all right? First segment.
Yeah, sounds good.
We're new. We're still learning. I think we're having fun though. What do you think, Lisa? You want to talk?
You never look up.
You need to take little
Because
paper
when
models.
hello, look at this.
She's ready.
Yes, we're gonna
Little rubber balls.
ask Chris questions. He's gonna introduce We Are Change or talk about We Are Change. So interject some questions in there about
Whatever.
I don't know what weird change is about.
exactly. That's perfect. Even
Alright.
better.
All right.
Because that's what I like to do. Cause
Well, the people
out
that
there
are
don't
listening
know.
won't know either. So.
Yes, man. Are you okay without headphones?
Yeah.
Okay, he's a pro.
I'm just gonna talk to whoever's talking to me.
So tell me.
We Are Change. We have chapters all across the world. We're a political activist group. We do
Can you
every.
scoot over that way a little bit?
We do everything. We do everything from
Yeah, and you scoot
street
over a
level
little bit.
activism to lobbying up at capitals.
And move that
Huh?
base
Yeah,
of your
we're,
mic
we're,
closer
we're not
to
a
you.
left
Yeah.
or
Chris,
we're not a
you
right
wanna
Talking to the
organization.
type at
We're
top of
a
the
freedom
mic.
organization.
You wanted me over?
No.
Yeah, you're good right
And
now.
so we've
I
aligned
got both
with
of
both
you in the
sides.
camera now.
for
Do you
the-
wanna
And I got him and her in the camera.
You want to move microphones? Oh.
I don't know.
Oh,
Can you
yeah,
hear
move
okay
your-
on that one?
Can you move that any further?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, and switch, turn it so the microphone
I
is
think the level's
level
okay in that
with the
now.
bass. See what I mean? You turn it like, there we go, and then
I got
that
you.
way. There we go.
I'm nice and medicated for tonight's show.
That's good.
Yeah.
Was
It's
that
a good
cookie
thing,
good?
'cause I could've
Okay, we're
really-
coming back.
good?
We're coming back.
Oh.
Okay, anytime.
And we're back here on Overgrow the Radio.
Welcome back.
Our next guest is Mr. Chris Nixon from We Are Change. Hey, Chris.
Hi, how you doing?
What's happening?
Another fine day.
Yeah. We're going to let this intro play out. Elisa, I'm going to let you field some questions with Chris for us. We're going to find out a little bit about Chris's organization. We're going to dance right now, though.
All right. So, Chris, could you tell us about your organization? What is your organization?
Well, my name is Chris. I'm with We Are Change Colorado and We Are Change Colorado Springs. We're a political activist group. We're not left, we're not right. We're a freedom organization. We do everything from street level activism all the way up to lobbying up at capitals.
And how do you decide what you're going to do your activism around? Is it just basically around freedoms or?
Basically, it's around freedoms, but we kind of call ourselves a leaderless organization made up of leaders. And so individuals who belong to We Are Change or visit us, they come to us with an idea, and whoever wants to get behind it, we go out and help other people who are out there doing something and being active.
Nice. Nice. So, folks, like here in Denver, we come up from the Springs, and I know you work with Denver quite a bit.
Yes.
I'm guessing there's We Are Change in Denver.
Yes, there is. There is. If you would like to visit the website at wearechangecolorado.org, sign up for the newsletter. You'll get updates of when there's meetings, when there's street level activism. It's a great place to show up and once again give your ideas. We cover everything from government corruption all the way down to GMOs to medical marijuana. We run a real wide range of topics and ideas, as long as it's freedom oriented.
And I know we started on a different note, but our topic is voting. It's very important. I guess it's not really a different note because we have to vote people like this out of office. We Are Change works a lot to get people to register to vote.
We do. We encourage everyone to find a party, whatever that is, and go with it. The part of the problem right now is we're covered with nothing but non-registered people or unaffiliated. At that point, you no longer get to vote in the primaries or anything else, so you're still letting the establishment candidates run their campaign and get all the way up to the end. Then we're sitting there voting for the lesser of two evils. If we actually get involved and help decide who's going to be elected up to primary, up to state, even up to federal levels, that's where we can actually make a difference.
Absolutely. You had a point, I think. I saw you jotting down notes.
Oh, no, I was just writing down the name of his organization.
Okay. I think a big point to touch on here, all the organizations, the reason I brought you in, and Michael, who I haven't quite introduced yet, Michael Clifton is up from the Springs. He's been quiet over there.
Yep.
I brought you guys in tonight because MMJ and our world ties into so many other organizations. And I see so many, I actually attended the march down in the Springs the other day for Trevon. It was a great turnout. I was really impressed. And in the future, we're going to talk to some of the organizers of that. I think we're all dealing with civil rights issues. It's very important now more than ever because we're losing our civil rights almost on a daily basis. I mean, they're passing, I'm getting ready to hold a protest in D.C. They just passed a law that I can't protest as a federal official. How's that going to work? I'm pretty sure D.C. is all federal officials. So, I mean, it's things like that are very scary to anyone who likes their liberties, who likes their freedoms here. Let me throw air quotes up for those of you who don't have video.
Well, you're exactly right. And the one thing that we encourage with We Are Change is to help educate and get people to realize it's not a left issue and it's not a right issue. It's a freedom issue. I always do sit there and say, we have two different sides, but they want the same thing at the end of the day. One wants control of how much water is in your toilet. The other one wants control of what books you read, what medicine you can have, that type of stuff. And without our involvement, we are sitting there being apathetic. And as long as we're apathetic, we're going to get what we deserve.
Complacent. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
I had a little bit of deja vu there, a little history. I met Chris at Occupy, and I'm pretty sure we had that same conversation there.
Absolutely we did.
One of my taglines, I did a lot of media. Chris helped some with the media, I believe. And one of my taglines was just that, there's the left and the right paradigm. They want our population divided. If they can keep us divided, it's much easier for them to control the populace. The left and right paradigm, we will never agree on the solutions to everything, but what we can do is we can sit down as a population and pretty much agree on the keynote issues that are wrong. I saw that big time at Occupy. You see it all the time. You get, like with MMJ, you get in your little niche, and you don't see stuff like that because it is, we're slowly becoming a conservative movement. We just got Pat Robertson to help us out with that. Thank you, Pat. We're slowly broadening as a community. People are learning more about cannabis and the benefits. But you get in your little world and you don't see that until you actually step outside of that box and you talk to that friend of yours who might be a Republican when you're a crazy liberal, and you realize, wow, we agree. It's
absolutely. During whoever is in office is what I'm exactly the opposite is what people call me. I've been called everything from a right-wing extremist to a left-wing wacko, and it's because I'm pointing out whoever's in office of what they're lying about. I would like to expose them, and I would like to educate people. Believe it or not, I've also served in the past on the El Paso County Tea Party. I was on their board.
Sure.
And it's because I love my freedoms. And even there, they're trying to educate and get them to realize it's not always the left and it's not always the right. It is both sides who are at this point being bought and paid for by big industry, big corporation, and their special interests.
Well, and you just touched on it right there. I mean, if you follow the money in our politics, it's disgusting. And anyone with common sense these days, you know, that's common knowledge. You know, that I guess the next point that kind of leads into that, you know, we have to be united. Organizations should be united. People should be united. You know, we're in a pretty trying time right now, all the way around. Not just in our cannabis world, but in there's a lot of issues. You know, there's a war on women right now, which I don't quite understand. We're trying to step back to the 30s, but that's a side note for another night. I guess my question is and we're going to take another break in a minute, but we may be able to get into this a little bit. Ways we can all work together actively to reform voting, to reform politics. I mean, there's more we can do than just vote.
I agree 100%. I do sit there and, you know, say to everybody, you know, on voting day is the one day you can actually kind of take off. Everything else is decided in between elections.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think, you know, I know with Overgrow, we, in DC this year, we're encouraging folks to show up a day early and actually, you know, visit the representatives, visit their offices. They're not in session, but that's okay. Their staff is there. You know, enough people go in and then voice their opinion, that stuff gets taken down. They may read it.
Well, and actually that's a wonderful idea. The one thing I would suggest on top of that is actually call and make an appointment with their office.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, whether it's a staffer or not, you know, someone may actually take an appointment with them.
Absolutely, and I'm going to go as press.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I'm going to try to pull that one off. I know I look so professional. Michael, we're going to jump in and see if you have any thoughts on what we're talking about here, because you've been so quiet over there.
My organization completely agrees that voter apathy and disenfranchisement are evil, and they're two things that it's completely okay to hate.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to jump in later on with you and get more details about your organization. I'm going to do something special on camera. Chris, we got some more time here, so we're going to talk some more about your organization. And what, I guess my next point that I'm curious about is, you know, what do you guys have going on now?
Right now, we are always out there trying to educate people on the Federal Reserve. So we do actions at least once a month over at the Federal Reserve building downtown off 16th Street Mall.
And what day is that?
That it kind of bounces around, and that's why I would suggest people to sign up at wearechange.colorado.org.
You can get email updates.
Yeah, and sign on to the newsletter. And they do update. I know there will be a street action on opening day of Colorado Rockies.
Nice.
I want to say that's the 13th of April. I believe it's an evening game. So there will be some of us down there handing out all kinds of information on many different topics. You know, we do like to do a lot of, you know, street theater, bullhorning, flyer passing, DVD handing out things.
Nice.
You know, it's about reaching the masses at that point.
So Chris actually has a personal story I'm going to ask him to share with us real quick. We're talking about civil rights. We always talk about civil rights because we're, criminals. Cannabis people are all criminals. Chris actually challenged the system on a personal level. He just brought up a word that reminded me of that. With a bullhorn.
I did. I
want to hear that story.
I was in Colorado Springs. This was a couple years ago on September 9th. It was, I want to say, the 8th year of anniversary of 9/11. Partly how We Are Change actually got started. It got started out of New York by a guy named Luke Radowski.
Admire him a lot.
And, wonderful street level activist, citizen journalist, all that type of stuff. Well, he started it partly because he realized some of the questions that revolved around 9/11 and some of the stuff that was not being covered. And so we were down in Colorado Springs doing our activism and handing out flyers and DVDs, had bullhorn down there, which I normally carry with me everywhere I go. Never know when going to run into a good protest. And so, you know, I'm down there, and the police lined up approaching us and you know, asking if I had a permit for my bullhorn, and I let him know I do not. And he, you know, asked me why. I said, well, because I don't need one. And he said, yes, you do. I said, well, would you mind showing me the law? He would not show me the law, would not recite a law. He landed up telling me, if you want to see the law, continue, and I'll just write you a ticket. And so at that point, a friend of mine was on an opposite street corner with a bullhorn as well. At that, you know, then I let him know. I said, well, then you might want to pull out your little black book, because I'm willing to challenge this one. And that is one thing I don't advise everyone to do. You know, you have to pick and choose your battles, and I let everybody know, you know, whoever lands up getting arrested, you know, that is on your own accord. I'm going to do this because I'm going to challenge this. Because you know, the one thing I do suggest to people is always know the law before you go out and protest or anything like that. And so I let him know and continued on bullhorning. And so he got nervous and called other cops, didn't really know what to do at that point. Had about 4 officers come down.
A lot of times they don't, do they?
No. Had about another 4 officers come down. He landed up pulling out his book and, you know, discussing with other officers what they were going to do. Called over my friend as well. I set my bullhorn down and walked with him because he asked me to come, you know, towards his car. And so he did. And I did. I was completely, you know, compliant. But at the same time, I had about 5 cameras with my friends who were filming the whole entire thing. So he knew to be on his P's and Q's. Another street level activist thing, always carry a camera and always have a friend of yours carry a camera.
And know your rights and flex your rights. There's an organization that uses that phrase.
Yeah,
like that
yeah,
phrase.
there is.
It's, I'm sorry, continue.
No, okay. And so, you know, started writing me a ticket, and which was fine. Asked me to take a seat in the back of the cop car. I kind of suggested that wasn't necessary. He kind of persuaded me to do that, so I did. And, you know, at this point, it didn't make a difference. Long story short, he, you know, drove through the city park to get away from the cameras, with his car, drove me to the police station, continued to write me a ticket. I let him know, thank you, have a good day, I'll see you in court. And I took them to court, went all the way through the process. It landed up being about a 4-month process, multiple court dates. Went in, fought up against the city attorney, and, you know, made motions to dismiss the case because they had no case. They chose not to, so we went to trial. It was not a trial by jury. It was the judge sat there and you know, let him know what my case was. I put together my own case, did not hire a lawyer or anything else. I was able to subpoena all the officers, everything else. I think a trial that they expected to last 15 minutes, I made it, you know, last all the way through lunch. And at the very end, the judge was actually furious because nothing was ever stated in any of the law that I could not have a bullhorn, and where did the law state that I needed a permit, and he couldn't find one. And so the judge was actually pretty upset.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
So it was quite a success story.
Absolutely, man. And it had to have felt good to stand up for your rights and defeat the system.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Well, we're going to take another commercial break. You want to stick around for a little bit?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right on. I think we're going to chat some more with you, and then we're going to bring Mr. Clifton on to chat with us. We'll be right back here at Overgrow the Radio on iCannabisRadio.com. Let's see. Any other points you want to bring up? Elisa? Brainstorm. Filler.
Oh, I've got
I'm
You got a
sure
lot
he's
to
got
do?
a
I've
lot.
got points to tie it all in together.
We're going to bring you in.
And yeah, and I'm sure I can
Okay.
jump in on some of
Yes.
your.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then the last 15, we may, I want to bring Overgrow, my DC thing in at some point. We haven't been mentioning that. Meg's like, you mentioned DC? Yeah. It's only a month away. Why would I do that? But yeah, good stuff.
What's this called?
that's good.
Cannabis for the Cure.
Do you should we mention sponsors when we come back?
We can.
Before the end of the show?
One more. This is it, guys.
Alright.
Oops.
Talk it up.
Oh wait, sorry, one more.
Cool, I can plug Sarah. She's a sweetie. Sarah's medicated teas. I had some peppermint tea the other night. Had a sore throat. Killed it.
Throat coat's pretty good stuff.
Okay, after this, there's a bump, like a little New Jersey weed man thing, and then
I haven't heard that.
music.
Puff, puff, pass.
Ready?
Bringing us back in proper like. I like that. Welcome back, guys. Rocky Mountain, where? High? Is that where we're at? We're in Denver. We're a mile high. That's what I meant. No one's medicated here. We're all legal. Good evening. Welcome back. We're gonna chat now with my friend from the Springs. We kept Chris around, but we're gonna bring Michael on. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
Tell us about yourself, Michael.
Well, I am. I started out as a YouTuber when I became an activist because of freedom of speech issues on YouTube, especially with the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. But lately, I have become a voter registration drive organizer, and the drive is called votinginaction.org. And I've seen you guys around lately with a lot of different activism, but one bit of activism that ties the civil rights issues to the patient issues here in Colorado is just this week we saw in our city, me and Chris, we saw that the city council passed a law about surveillance cameras that they're going to put downtown. Well,
Oh, I saw it too.
yeah, and some of the protesters that I saw that actually showed up to speak to city council both this week and 2 weeks prior to that when they first brought it up, a lot of them were members of We Are Change.
Nice.
But on the 10th, they're going to have the second reading for those downtown cameras, and when they pass it, if they do, on that day, we're going to start a petition to put in a voter referendum for it. Now, at the city level, we need 15% of however many people voted for the mayor. And unfortunately, there was a big turnout for it, so we need 14,700 signatures for that petition, which should be easy compared to some of the signatures that have happened for initiatives for medical marijuana on the state level.
Sure.
But what I'm looking at here is this is Initiative 30. This is the one that was put out by MPP, Safer, and Normal,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Which has since changed.
Which has since changed.
Multiple times.
Okay. They have like 8
But yeah,
different
yeah.
initiatives,
We're
but
with
this
you.
is Initiative 30. And on February 3rd, they were denied initially to be on the November ballot because they had submitted 156,000 signatures. They only needed 87,000, and they only had 86,000. And when I saw those numbers, I was like, that cannot be right. That they just came within 1,000 and half of their signatures were bad. What is this? You know,
Right.
It's like somebody sat down and challenged every signature until they had just enough to make sure that the people of Colorado could not vote on this. And at that point, it's disenfranchisement, and it's right in my radar, you know. So I've seen a couple other initiatives like the Legalize 2012 and some other things come up, but what we want to do is compare the proportion of voters that sign and get disqualified off these petitions, because I'm pretty sure 50% of the people who sign a petition is a pretty huge proportion to disqualify. And we're about to have one on the city level where we just need 14,700. Now we're thinking maybe we should go ahead and get 20,000.
Actually, this is Chris again, and actually that is a great idea. They do say you should always go up and above 20%. I've worked on petition drives,
Yes.
and there is a process that they sit there and throw out everything, and it's when they don't want things or the people to be heard.
Well, luckily we have a lot of time before November, and when we finally have to turn in our signatures, we'll have something more than 250 days before the deadline. But we're looking at the proportion that we're going to get from the city for civil rights issues such as the security cameras versus the proportion that the state will disqualify, you know, to get just 1,000 less. And luckily there are laws to protect petition getters and people who want to do initiatives like this that say, if you are initially turned down, you only have to get enough signatures to get back up over that level. So they were turned down to discourage them. You know?
Absolutely.
And so they only had to go out and get 1,000, but how many did they get? Overkill.
Yeah.
Because they have to.
Yeah, well, I think, I mean, definitely saw that with the MMJ thing, the legalization measure. I love that, though. I love that we turned in, how many, Elisa, do you know the numbers on that?
I don't know what the number
I
is.
just know
I know
that
before
we-
February 3rd, it
more
was
than
156,000, and you only needed 87.
Right.
Mhm.
So, I mean, they can try. I mean, it's underhanded. It's unfortunately a lot of the tactics of our government these days.
And
It
now
is.
what we're putting together for our organization is a comprehensive Colorado Open Records Act request,
Nice.
where we're going to compare all of the different initiatives
Mhm.
and the proportions of signatures that got disqualified. And we're going to look into where companies used to get these signatures, because there are some companies that actually boast of certain success rates where at least a certain percentage of their signatures will be good. And
Sure.
that's been a problem with the marriage equality people in years past, where they've paid to have a certain number of signatures, and the money is coming from outside people. But here, with the medical marijuana issue, this is a very grassroots movement, and most of the people that got those signatures were volunteers.
Mhm.
So
Most of them weren't getting paid per
There
signature, so
were a
it's
few, but
very,
not many.
very
Yeah.
shifty to think that 50% were bad.
So is this going to be on this year's ballot or next?
Initiative 30 will be on this year's ballot in November. The legalized 2012 one at their website, I'm not sure what their progress is, but they have not turned in all of their signatures yet.
We, I think I said earlier, I think there's 3 now legalization initiatives for the ballot.
And they are different.
Yeah,
Very.
we're actually going to have Rico on in a couple of weeks to talk about Initiative 70, the author of that one. Or one of the authors, I shouldn't say the author. And I'm very excited about that one. I'm very unbiased. I like anything that has the word legalization. But I see holes in some stuff, and we're going to address that and go into that. You know, I think it's very important, as we saw with the MMJ community, that, you know, with the 1284 coming out after Amendment 20, and really squashing patient rights, squashing caregiver rights, Lisa can attest to that,
Yes.
squashing a lot of rights that I don't think we planned on when Amendment 20 passed. Now, I wasn't part of that. I was back in the Midwest when you guys were smart enough to do that, but I've since reaped the benefits, and I think it's very important, I would say we think it's very important, that anything that passes has to be detailed. It has to address a lot of issues that we should have addressed the first time around. You know, and that's, I'm sure
And
that
that's a big difference between state level initiatives and municipal initiatives, because normally a city will require that there's one issue at hand, and they normally limit it to no more than 5 sentences on any of them that I've seen. But in Colorado Springs, it's one initiative, one issue, and they have to review the wording first, and they print up the forms for you.
sure.
So they've already passed the verbiage of it, you know. And
Right.
sometimes they'll have a problem and they'll kick it back.
So you can bounce it back and forth, and they're willing to work with you
Yes.
somewhat.
But as soon as you start the process, like as with the security cameras, we'll have at least a legal basis for an injunction to keep the cameras away until the voters can vote on it. And what we're aiming for with that is the first initiative will be, can we vote on it? That will be what will be voted on in November,
Right.
because that will extend the issue out even longer.
Sure. Well, and that can, it can be a plus because it's more time to educate.
Yes,
You
it
know,
is.
with
And that's what
anything,
we're looking for.
education is huge. You
And-
know, your
and what's-
personal opinion on the cameras in the Springs is obviously a negative one.
Yes.
I would like to get some info out to folks real quick. We're going to come back after the break, but your contact info. How do folks get involved in all this stuff that you have going on?
You can go to our website, votinginaction.org. We have emails set up there. All of our contacts. We have a P.O. box. We have everything you need. You can register to vote online there through the Colorado Secretary of State website or Rock the Vote. Yeah, we've got it all right there, votinginaction.org.
Well, I think what I need to do right now is I think you have something for me.
Oh, yes, we do.
I'm guilty. I moved a year ago. Not a year ago. Well, yeah, a year ago. I moved and I forgot to change my voter registration. I believe Michael can tell us. I was fairly ignorant on that. I didn't know I had to change it. I guess I assumed with my license it would change automatically. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hide my address here, but I'm going to sign this thing and make it all official. I'm going to need a witness. Can I get a witness?
I'll be your witness.
All right, guys, we'll be right back here. I'm going to take care of this and get all legal. Thanks for joining us. Come back and listen to the rest of us.
Yeah.
That was cheesy.
You don't need a witness. You don't need a witness.
No?
No, that's for people who need assistance.
Oh.
Sounds really good.
Yeah?
It's a good show.
Thanks, man.
It's nice to have you guys in here. It's nice to have these
What the hell's the
diverse
date today?
perspectives. I'll say.
29th.
Need anything? Jason? Anybody?
No, we're good.
No?
I think we're good. We're gonna fill this last 15 and call it a
Good deal.
night.
Sounds
Get
good.
over there and party.
This has been my first on-the-air paper ballot.
Nice.
That's
I just
awesome.
made history for
Yes, yes. We've sent people to register to vote online
you. Oh, are we coming back?
during a webcast, but I've never had
I don't
a
know.
paper one while they're
Scared me. I thought
broadcasting.
you
You
were
know, if
coming
you
back.
gave me some of those forms, I'd stick them in the center.
Well, we have to train people. These are
Oh, okay.
Official.
Official.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to
Gotcha.
be official.
Gotcha.
Do you guys not have to wear a badge?
No.
No?
In fact, I'm the only one who has to hold the paperwork, and there is no badge.
Right. See, well, because like I said, I've done the petitions and stuff on statewide level, and we always had to wear. We had to identify ourselves as a
Where'd my pen go?
volunteer petition taker or something like that.
Must have that.
And then you're right. Then I could be the only one to hold those, except I was the head of the El Paso County down there, and so I could sign them out to people, but they would have to have them notarized and all that. That they were the ones who did them.
Do you want to welcome us back and read the sponsors for tonight?
Sure.
Cool. Putting you to work. I think you talked more. With 6 people tonight. One of these nights we're gonna have a night where like you and I can actually talk.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it'll happen. We
When
haven't even,
I do have a
introduced
question,
ourselves yet
he
on
never-
the air.
Really?
He always
Yeah,
talk-
I haven't
just keeps
given a
talking.
history. She has.
And then when I don't
Oh,
have a
wow.
question, he'll always go,
Talked to
oh,
her.
you
She
had
was
a question.
guest, we did a show on
like, great.
hers and Bob's.
All right, one more commercial, guys, and we're back.
All right.
Peace. It's the weed pimps. They gotta come back in and do a new commercial. Talk about Vegas smoking weed with Coolio.
Do what?
So they gotta come back in and do another commercial and talk about smoking weed with Coolio.
Yes.
We got high with Coolio. I got a bad neck today. It's not happy.
All right, ready? Here we go in about 5-6 seconds. Go.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Overgrow the Radio. This is Lisa, and I'd just like to thank our sponsors tonight. We'd like to give a shout out to the Weed Pimps and in Dispensary in Colorado Springs, Green Monster Glass, Southern Colorado Medical Marijuana, Sarah's Teas, Edson, Mayton and Matt's, and Medical Marijuana 101, and Run on Grass. Thanks, you guys. We can't do this without you.
Absolutely. We've actually got some really great deals right now on advertising here. We got a lot of great programming, a lot of opportunity. I have to mention, yesterday we received an award, our station. We were named, what was it, the best place to tune in while tuning out.
In the Westford.
I find that an honor. I want to thank Westwood, and I want to thank all of the people who voted for us. That's amazing. Thanks, guys. We're really honored here at iCannabisRadio.
Yes, that is wonderful.
We'll keep bringing you great programming, or we'll try to. We're back here. Chris is still with us from We Are Change. The beautiful, talented, smart Elisa from, well, wherever you're from. Michael Clifton.
Well, there's two very important things that you still have to plug.
Okay.
One being the on April 20th, the Freedom Festival in America the Beautiful Park.
Yes.
But then there's the Overgrow the Government for DC.
I just made a note of that. Yeah, we should talk about that for a minute. Lisa and I at some point will get into our history a little bit. We haven't really had a chance to do that here yet. We've been so busy with lots of great guests. Overgrow the Government's something that I founded from an idea. I can actually tie this in because part of my closing this evening was that we can, as individuals, make a difference. You know, Overgrow for me started as a conversation with a friend on Facebook. She said, well, why don't you post it as an event? And I did, and within days I had organizations calling me and you know, 1,000 people on the page. So we went last year on 420, was our first year. We marched from the Washington Monument last year to Lafayette Park. We were right next to the White House. We were instructed before we went that we were not allowed to point our speakers at the White House. So all day long, as our speakers were pointed parallel, we just turned towards the White House and addressed them that way. So it was really a great day. We actually had a contact I worked with at MPP told us we were the largest rally there in a decade. So we really did a good job of putting it together at short notice. We went back in September as sort of an afterthought, and we're headed back again in just a few weeks on 420. We've changed it up a little because we want to grow. We're now at the Sylvan Theater, which is right next to the Washington Monument, which is pretty monumental because we all know George Washington was a huge proponent of hemp. He liked to smoke his hemp too. He didn't just use it to make clothes. So we're going to be there on 420. We meet up usually around 10 a.m. at the Sylvan Theater, and then around 11 we should have a police escort down to the White House to go say hi to Mr. Obama if he's in town this year. I think he skied out last year on us on purpose. And then we return back and we have a day of speakers and music this year. We have sort of partnered up with an organization there in DC, Art Under Pressure. We're working with some really great people there, and they're actually taking care of all of our music and lining up our after party for this year. We have been working to finalize everyone speaker-wise. I'll be there. Jason Law from Cannabis Health News will be there. Craig Barish from San Diegoans from Patients' Rights we had on last week or the week before.
Last week.
Yeah, last week. So there's a number of people. Sean Dunnigan from LEAP. If you're not familiar with LEAP, LEAP is Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, which is an amazing organization. It's the smart cops is what I like to call them. But it's not just cops, it's actually federal prosecutors, it's judges, it's mostly retired, obviously, because active law enforcement, that might be a conflict of interest. But yeah, I mean, it's a great organization to have represented there. You know, we are working with other ones to finalize them now as we speak. Hopefully we'll get a lineup on our website before the rally actually gets here. But it looks to be a really exciting day in DC. I'd love to get all of you guys out there. We're going to be Overgrow, actually, Travis at Subculture, I should plug him because he very generously donated a booth to Overgrow the Government this year for the Freedom Fest. Am I saying that right? What's the
It's
proper name of it?
The Field of Dreams.
Field
of Dreams.
Yes.
Freedom
I'm
Festival.
sorry, Travis.
And it's in America the Beautiful Park in Colorado Springs.
Absolutely, and it's on 420, and there's actually a walk before it we'll plug real quick too.
Yes, we're doing a Cannabis for the Cure walk. You can get bracelets at most of the dispensaries in Colorado Springs for $10, and we're walking from, I believe,
Not Memorial.
not Memorial,
Arcation.
We will get the details.
Monument Valley
There
Park.
you go.
Monument Valley Park to America the Beautiful Park.
And I encourage that. What's a little walk down to enjoy your day with a bunch of cannabis-friendly people?
It's very little over a mile, so it's a very easy little walk. So come and join me.
And I've not been to the 420 Fest. I was in DC obviously last year as well. But you know, I hope you guys have a great turnout. What Overgrow is going to do with our booth is my co-host Elisa is actually facing charges right now. Bob Kraus, who's hanging out somewhere in the back in the green room, as well, and Chuck Ball, who was raided but is not facing charges. We're going to just dedicate our booth to these guys this year because what's happening there is so unjust. I encourage anyone who's not familiar with their stories to get out that day and talk to them. I look for all three of them to be there at some point throughout the day. It's really a shame that our tax dollars are being wasted. You know, this all really, we kind of changed the focus of our show tonight a little bit. You know, we didn't go completely cannabis. We talked about voting. I mean, you have to agree, all this ties in together.
It does. We have to vote if we're going to have rights and be able to use medication. So.
And people say, well, what good does it do if I vote? What does my vote do? Just to throw out some statistics, and correct me if it's changed, but something like 15% of our population is registered to vote. It's not very high.
It's not very high. The one thing I will say, voting is very important. But if you actually really want to get involved and really try and make change, go down to your local, you know, capital, go down to your legislators, go to your senators, congress people. You know, phone calls are great. The way lobbying kind of works is, you know, when you make a phone call, it is like, you know, they take that one phone call as being equals about 15 of their voters. You know, when you send a fax, you know, they look at that as being about 10 of their actual voters. You know, but when you actually show up in person and go talk to them, they look at that as 100 voters walking through that door, letting them know how they feel.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it does make a huge difference. I recently, with my lady friend, visited one of our representatives' office, and they look shocked. So that tells me right there that not enough people come in like that. You should. I mean, if nothing else, make your voice heard. You know, go in, be respectful. You know,
absolutely.
Don't go in looking all raggedy.
And I would suggest find somebody who has your passion, and who is already down there, because
right.
you know, whatever your passion is or whatever you want to stand up and say, there's probably someone down there already who already has that point of view, and they might know the ins and outs of how the system works. I mean, most people don't realize you can go be a volunteer lobbyist by walking through the doors saying, I want to register as a volunteer lobbyist, putting your ID down, they make you an ID, and you walk off, and you're able to go speak to representatives.
I think Chris just took us to our closing. We started the show tonight with Rage Against the Machine. I had to get my mad mood on.
Grr.
That song was Wake Up. And I think America, everyone listening and everyone beyond our listening, we have to wake up. We not only have to wake up, we have to stand up. And we have to stand up together. And until we do that, as I've said before, we lose. Let's not lose this. I have a child. A lot of us have children. Let's do this for them. Hey, I want to thank everyone. Elisa's got something to add.
I do. This is not just about voting. People think it's just about voting. People they're dying. Their lives are in your hands. And voting is one way to help. We can get medication out to patients that need it.
Absolutely. Yeah, cannabis is at the top of it's a keynote issue right now, and that's why we're here every week. That's our passion. And there's so many other issues, you know, real quick, we've got to get on this down in Colorado Springs, people, these cameras. These cameras are not the way we want to live. I mean, I don't want someone watching me walk down the sidewalk to go to King's Chef to have breakfast. I'm sorry, but that's not what I'm looking for. So guys, I want to thank Michael Clifton. Michael, one more time, give us your web address.
Votinginaction.org.
Right on. Chris Nixon.
You can contact us at wearechangecolorado.org, or you can email me directly at chris@wearechangeColoradoSprings.org.
Right on, guys. Thanks a lot. Let's have you back on at some point. Let's
Wonderful,
do this
thank
again.
you.
It's election year. We've got a lot to do.
Yep.
Elisa, thank you for all you do.
Oh, thank you, Jason.
Yeah. And all our listeners, please get out there, stand up. Let's do this. We love you. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace. One more down.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Happy
Yes,
month, by
I
the
like
way.
it.
Happy
I do.
month.
I like it.
That was our month right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, month
What's
Anniversary?
Your mom's anniversary? No,
1 month
tonight
anniversary.
is. Yeah. Yeah. Sir?
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
I'll
as
give you a hug
always.
once a month.
I bought him dinner tonight. Because he's special.
He's
He makes magic for us.
Hey,
I've never looked into the volunteer
first show
lobbyism.
that went off.
I think we
Really?
might all go down.
Oh, yeah.
We did.
I mean, but now see,
Nice.
you know, the
Nice.
funny thing is, they only work 5 months a year.
That was a good show, I think.
That's it. They're already past midway point of their session.
I should
All
get
right.
more medicated for every show.
They got a month left, and you know the way
Cameras
that kind
are
of
still
works
on,
is,
so
you know, they've already taken
so
the
you
bills
know.
that they can take.
Yeah, we're
so
still-
they're allowed to
yeah,
take 5,
until this song's
4,
over.
That's good.
and so right now you're in mode
I
of
gotta use the
stopping
restroom.
ones.
I'll be right
I mean, you know, that's the big mode that people are in right now.
Well, a lot of what we're doing this time around is just you know, feeling things out and how to do them next year. And
Well, and that's exactly it. I mean, we've started a volunteer lobbyist group, you know, really got off the ground last year. And by the end of the year, or by the, actually like the end of the session, we had an email list of like 50,000 people across the state. And these were all because, you know, what we were doing is we were pulling all the leaders of all the kind of liberty groups out there, bringing them together and teaching them how to lobby, and so we were tapped into everybody's email list. And so we did. We shut down quite a few bills that were, you know, whether it was privacy or you know, whatever, as long as it was a freedom thing. And in, like this go around, the people who started this, we all kind of fell into the background a little bit, and you know, other people are down there doing it and everything else, and you know, we still hear our names all, you know, constantly, but you know, this is where we want to be right now, is in the background, and let this election cycle be over.
it is taking forever.
That it is.